Hello, my name is Matthias Cavodi. I'd like to welcome you guys to my channel. Today we're going to talk about Uncanny X-Men 233 and 234, two classic issues. We have the X-Men battling against the Brood, or I've always called them the Brood, but the other day I heard a YouTube video on these characters and they call them the Brood, so get used to that. These two issues were written by the legendary Chris Claremont. This was 1980s X-Men. It's the best. Like, if you haven't read this stuff, like, just stop what you're doing. Go get the whole night. Chris Claremont's run during the whole 80s. It's just fantastic from the back. Even the filler and bad issues are really good too. Here we have art by Marc Silvestei. He also kills it. And so this is a pretty good story, especially the way it starts. This confrontation between the X-Men and this evil alien race that are very aesthetically, they look a lot like the xenomorph aliens, but they don't at the same time. We share a lot of the same qualities, but also we have the birth of the Goblin Queen, the transformation or metamorphosis of Madeline Pryor from being Scott's ex-wife, who she was totally abandoned, to transitioning into this very evil character, a villain that's very bitter about what happened to her. And she actually becomes really dangerous. She becomes insanely powerful. This space shark falls from the sky. I don't know much about the Brood mythos in general. They have this weird relationship with these space whales and these space sharks. I would really like to know more about how the Brood society works. Any of you guys know more about these characters than me and can reference any issue where we get the whole explanation of how the Brood society works and how they started to enslave these space whales and these space sharks, please leave it in the comments below. So the really interesting part of the story is that the Brood arrive on Earth. They take this guy as the first host, and at the beginning of the story, he's not aware he's infected, and so he's a he's a paramedic. Each time he finds a patient he's infecting, especially patients that are mutants, Pryor returns to the X-Men base after going shopping. During this time, the X-Men were living in Australia. I remember back in the 80s, Australia was like a real big deal. It was all over the place, referenced in movies and in pop culture and stuff like that. I guess in big part, thanks to Crocodile Dundee, that was like a really, really big flick back when I was a kid. These issues came out way back in 1988, so I was 7 years old. So Madeline Pryor hanging out with the X-Men in Australia. She's helping organize the things, monitor TV to see where they have to send the X-Men to go save the day. And she sees that Cyclops is alive and well, and he's back with Jean Grey. At this moment, we're not aware of this, but Madeline Pryor was a clone of Jean Grey, and she was created by Mr. Sinister to have Cyclops have a child with her, to have the ultimate mutant or whatever Mr. Sinister was going for with his crazy genetic plans. But going back to this dude who's the paramedic, is that since he wasn't aware he was infecting people left and right, the X-Men discover this situation, start trying to hunt him down. The guy is like flipping out. He's really scared. He doesn't know what's going on. Pretty well written that this guy is totally flipping out why these super dudes are trying to hunt him down. You discover he has powers, but the fear in him, it's pretty well done. Personality pops up every once in a while. He tries to infect the X-Men. And what we discover at the end of the first issue in 233 is that he had infected the whole town. I think this town was in Colorado. And since he had infected mutants, all these Brood have extra powers. So the second issue, we have a battle between the X-Men and the Brood. You feel like the stakes are pretty high. There's also a subplot that's going to go crash into the main plot, where we have this televangelist that he likes mutants. He has this whole conversation about why people should accept mutants and stuff like that. And he's going to have this gigantic event. The Brood are giving the X-Men a real hard time. Madeline Pryor sees Cyclops is husband, like Cyclops, was a total dick to Madeline Pryor. He just straight up left her once he saw Jean Grey was back, and well, Madeline Pryor just totally flips out. Seems to have a type of nightmare where she feels like she's losing her identity, being stolen to Jean Grey because obviously they both look the same. Battle between the X-Men and the Brood. The Brood X-Men are actually forced to kill these guys, so the X-Men are sort of having to deal with the fact that they're having to use lethal force to stop these guys. Get this character. His name is Sim. He manifests himself. Madeline Pryor thinks he's just a figment of her imagination. This guy's a demon, and he used to also make things miserable for Magic, Colossus' sister. He's the one that sort of pushes Madeline Pryor to want to take vengeance, push her over the edge. Path of becoming the Goblin Queen. Here we have the classic Goblin Queen get-up that was pretty revealing. This televangelist dude, in the middle of his mass or sermon, like the X-Men and the Brood pop, like sort of interrupt everything. He's seemingly cures Wolverine of the Brood infection. Obviously, it's his healing factor, but the pastor attributes it to himself. This brutal last moment, Wolverine is able to pull a fast one on the first guy that was infecting everyone, the paramedic. The guy reverts back to his human state. He's like, no, please don't kill me. And Wolverine just straight up in cold blood kills the guy. It's pretty dark and brutal, and it's surprising. This was back in the 80s. You wouldn't see that often. Well, yeah, the whole thing with the craze with anti-heroes. But with like with a pretty popular superhero team, especially with the popularity of the X-Men back then, becoming just full-on lethal in the way they were doing it, it's pretty surprising to me. 234, we get that classic Uncanny X-Men cover with Wolverine sort of morphed into a Brood. So I'm going to leave this video here. The next one I'm going to do about the X-Men is going to be the tie-in to the Evolutionary War with fantastic art by Art Adams. So hope you guys see that one. See you guys next time. Bye.